question of whether to use non-metallic sheathed cable, often referred to as NM cable, in unfinished attached and detached garages in 1 and 2 family dwellings is a subject of differing viewpoints. Arguments can be presented both for and against its use without concealment behind a barrier possessing a 15-minute finish rating. Let's examine these arguments. Arguments in favor of using NM cable in unfinished garages, treating them as part of the dwelling, include firstly, reduced fire hazard. Garages generally have limited sources of ignition and are constructed with non-combustible materials. This minimizes the likelihood of a fire originating in the garage. Secondly, structural integrity. Unfinished garages often feature exposed wood framing. This allows for enhanced visibility and accessibility of the NM cable, facilitating maintenance and repairs. Thirdly, ease of installation. NM cable is flexible, simplifying its routing through unfinished garages. This makes it a more practical and cost-effective solution compared to using conduit or other wiring methods. Fourthly, consistency with other dwelling areas. Garages frequently serve as extensions of living spaces or for storage. Therefore, it is logical to treat them similarly to other areas of the dwelling in terms of electrical safety. Now, let's consider the arguments for concealing NM cable behind a barrier with a 15-minute finish rating in unfinished garages. Firstly, increased fire protection. A barrier with a 15-minute finish rating provides an extra layer of fire protection. This is particularly important in the event of an electrical fire or other hazards. Secondly, compliance with code. The National Electrical Code, often referred to as NEC, specifically mandates that NM cable in unfinished garages be concealed behind a barrier with a 15-minute finish rating, as specified in Article 334.15. Thirdly, safety for occupants. Concealing NM cable behind a barrier reduces the risk of electrical shock or injury to occupants. This is especially important for those who may be working or storing items in the garage. Fourthly, prevention of damage. A barrier safeguards the NM cable from physical damage and wear, extending its lifespan and ensuring its functionality. To elaborate further on the NEC requirements, Article 334 covers the use, installation, and construction specifications for Type NM, Type NMC, and Type NMS cables. Type NM cable is a non-metallic sheathed cable suitable for use in normally dry locations. Type NMC cable is a non-metallic sheathed cable suitable for use in dry, moist, damp, or corrosive locations. Type NMS cable is a non-metallic sheathed cable containing power, control, and signal circuits. Section 334.15 specifically addresses the protection from physical damage. In areas where NM cable is exposed to physical damage, it must be protected. This protection can be achieved through various means, including conduit, electrical metallic tubing, guard strips, or other means. The 15-minute finish rating requirement for garages falls under this protection from physical damage clause, particularly when local amendments or interpretations of the NEC emphasize fire safety in these areas. The 15-minute finish rating refers to the fire resistance rating of the material used for the barrier. This rating indicates that the material can withstand exposure to fire for at least 15 minutes before failing. The purpose of this requirement is to provide occupants with a short window of time to escape in the event of a fire. In addition, it aims to prevent the fire from spreading rapidly to other parts of the building. When installing an NM cable, it is crucial to follow the manufacturer's instructions and the NEC guidelines. Some key considerations include ampacity, which is the current carrying capacity of the cable, proper support and securing of the cable, and protection from overcurrent. The ampacity of an NM cable is determined by the conductor size and insulation type. It is essential to select the correct cable size for the intended load to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. NM cable must be supported and secured at intervals specified in NEC. This helps prevent the cable from sagging or becoming damaged. Overcurrent protection, such as circuit breakers or fuses, must be provided to protect the NM cable from excessive current flow. This is a critical safety measure to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. In addition to the NEC requirements, local building codes may have additional regulations regarding the use of NM cable in garages. It is essential to check with the local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable codes. Some jurisdictions may have stricter requirements than the NEC, while others may have specific interpretations of the code that affect the installation of NM cable in garages. When considering the arguments for and against concealing NM cable in garages, it is important to weigh the potential risks and benefits of each approach. While the NEC explicitly requires concealment, there may be situations where this requirement is not strictly enforced or where alternative methods of protection are deemed acceptable. However, it is always prudent to err on the side of safety and adhere to the code requirements to minimize the risk of fire or electrical hazards. Alternative wiring methods to NM cable include, firstly, electrical metallic tubing, often referred to as EMT. This is a rigid metal conduit that provides excellent protection for conductors. It is suitable for both exposed and concealed locations. Secondly, rigid metal conduit, often referred to as RMC. This is a heavy-duty metal conduit that offers superior protection against physical damage and corrosion. It is often used in industrial or commercial applications. Thirdly, flexible metal conduit, often referred to as FMC. This is a flexible metal conduit that is suitable for use in drier locations where flexibility is required. It is often used for connecting equipment or appliances. Fourthly, liquid-type flexible metal conduit, often referred to as LFMC. This is a flexible metal conduit that is liquid-tight and suitable for use in wet locations. It is often used for outdoor applications or in areas where moisture is present. Fifthly, armored cable, often referred to as AC. This is a cable that is encased in a flexible metal sheath. It provides good protection against physical damage and is suitable for use in dry locations. The choice of wiring method depends on various factors, including the location, environment, and the level of protection required. When selecting a wiring method, it is essential to consider the potential risks and hazards associated with the specific application and to choose a method that provides adequate protection for the conductors. In conclusion, the use of NM cable in unfinished attached and detached garages in 1- and 2-family dwellings is a topic with varying opinions. While arguments can be made for both sides, the NEC explicitly requires NM cable to be concealed behind a barrier with a 15-minute finish rating in such garages. Therefore, it is prudent to adhere to the code requirement to ensure the highest level of safety and compliance. It is always best to consult with a qualified electrical contractor or inspector to ensure that all electrical work is performed in accordance with the applicable codes and regulations. Additionally, consider that local interpretations of the NEC can vary. It is important to clarify the local requirements with the authority having jurisdiction. A deeper dive into Article 334.15 of the National Electrical Code reveals specific requirements for protecting NM cable. This article outlines the methods for protecting NM cable from physical damage, which is the primary concern in unfinished garages. The NEC recognizes that garages are often used for storage and other activities that could potentially damage exposed wiring. Therefore, the code mandates additional protection to ensure the safety of occupants and to prevent electrical hazards. The 15-minute finish rating requirement is not explicitly stated in Article 334.15. However, it is often interpreted as a means of providing adequate protection from physical damage and fire. The finish rating refers to the ability of a material to resist fire for a specified period of time. In this case, a 15-minute finish rating means that the material can withstand exposure to fire for at least 15 minutes without failing. This provides a crucial window of time for occupants to escape in the event of a fire and for firefighters to arrive and extinguish the blaze. The type of material used to provide the 15-minute finish rating can vary. Common materials include gypsum board, plywood, and other fire-resistant materials. The specific type of material required may depend on the local built-in codes and the specific application. When installing NM cable in an unfinished garage, it is important to carefully consider the potential sources of physical damage. These may include vehicles, tools, equipment, and stored items. The cable should be routed in a way that minimizes its exposure to these potential hazards. In addition to concealing the cable behind a barrier with a 15-minute finish rating, other methods of protection may be used. These include installing the cable in conduit, using guide strips, or routing the cable through protected areas. The specific method used will depend on the specific circumstances and the local code requirements. It is also important to ensure that the NM cable is properly supported and secured. The NEC specifies the maximum intervals at which NM cable must be supported. This helps to prevent the cable from sagging or becoming damaged. In addition to the physical protection of the NM cable, it is also important to ensure that the electrical system is properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to prevent electrical shock hazards. The NEC specifies the requirements for grounding electrical systems. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure the safety of occupants. When working with electrical systems, it is always important to take precautions to prevent electrical shock. These include wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses, and energizing the circuit before working on it. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to hire a qualified electrical contractor. A qualified electrical contractor has the knowledge and experience to perform electrical work safely and in accordance with the applicable codes and regulations. They can also help you to choose the right wiring methods and materials for your specific application. Ultimately, the decision of whether to conceal NM cable in an unfinished garage is a complex one that depends on various factors. These include the local code requirements, the potential sources of physical damage, and the overall safety of the electrical system. It is important to carefully consider all of these factors before making a decision. By following the NEC guidelines and taking appropriate precautions, you can help to ensure the safety of occupants and to prevent electrical hazards. Remember to always consult with local authorities having jurisdiction because it is their final say that matters regarding electrical installations and compliance with standards.